So when we go to talk to people who are looking to sell their home, one of the questions we always get asked is what improvements should they make in order to get the maximum possible price for their home? So in this video, we'll talk you through what are the 5 key things that you can do to improve your home prior to putting it on the market. So I'm here with my business partner, Jonathan Brewington. So between us, we're Brewington Hargreaves, one of the top 1% of realtor teams in Sonoma County. And we operate across the entire county, so Healdsburg, Santa Rosa, Sebastopol, Russian River, and up north towards Cloverdale. So I guess the big question is, how much work should you do before you actually sell your home? And is it actually worth doing an entire remodel of your home prior to selling it? Well, the answer to that is probably not. One of the things you need to weigh up is the amount of effort and resource it's going to take you versus the return that you're going to get and the time it's going to take you to get the home on the market. If we're thinking about the top 5 improvements to make, what would be the number 1?
Well, it's not always sexy, but I think the number 1 thing is paint and carpet. It sounds silly. It's what is often looked down upon by landlords and other investors, but investors do it for a reason, because a fresh coat of paint and new floors dramatically changes the feel of a house.
And that could be new carpet and or new wooden floors.
Absolutely. The quality and the specific selections are going to vary, and that's only if in your case that needs to be done. If your house was freshly painted, we're not implying that right before sale you need to repaint it again. It's just that those things should be showing well.
And is your view that, carpets in the bedrooms, wood floors and living spaces, what's your view on carpet versus wooden floors?
It's generally a price point issue. Wood floors are going to be more expensive than carpet. Carpets are a more budget-friendly option. Carpet is preferred in bedrooms by some folks, but some folks prefer hard surfaces throughout, if feasible. Again, it's often going to be a price point thing.
So if we've got, say, maybe a 2,000 square foot home, then how much would you say it would typically cost to paint it inside and out, and then to put new floors throughout?
In our area in particular, it may cost maybe $15,000 for a round number for paint inside and out, and the floors should cost similarly. But obviously there's a wide discrepancy in what you can spend depending on the selections you ultimately make, particularly in flooring. But I would budget $30,000 for those 2 items to do it all new.
So painting inside and out and replacing the floors, whether it's wooden floors or carpets, generally you'll get your money back.
If it really needed paint and or flooring. Like I said earlier, I don't believe you're going to get a return by painting over new paint or replacing good floors. But if it's something that is needed, it is one of the most critical things to do.
Okay, so paint and floors is number 1. So what's the second thing on the list?
The second thing, obviously we move into what's a little more exciting in terms of a renovation, is kitchens. Everybody knows kitchen sells houses, and renovating a kitchen can dramatically increase the value of your home.
But that's a big undertaking to rip out an entire kitchen and then put a new kitchen in.
Correct. And again, dependent on price point, depending on the situation, and depending on your goals in terms of a sales price for your property, we could take it in various different directions. A good budget way to renovate a kitchen, particularly around here where a lot of the homes were built in the 80s and they have the honey oak cabinets, is to paint them out white or a very neutral color. It doesn't have to be white, but something neutral. Change the hinges and add hardware. And adding that hardware really is a nice pop to make it feel and look new.
And that really is a hugely impactful, a relatively low cost to do something like that. And then presumably also replacing, kitchen countertops as well.
Correct. Kitchen countertops and appliances can really complete that look and feel of a quote new kitchen, even though you might be salvaging quite a few components of it.
Do you feel strongly about all the appliances having to be the same brand or a particular brand? What's your view on that?
I think depending on price point, again, I may sound like a broken record, you can get away with different things. I do feel that stainless steel is the most neutral. While there are things coming back around, the gold with the white appliances with the brushed gold or bronze handles and hardware has come back around. Some people like the black stainless, but in terms of resale, stainless steel is the simplest, the cleanest, and the most neutral option, which is probably going to get you your best return.
So then the third thing on the list is curb appeal. Obviously the first thing people see, they walk up to the house. I mean, that's a hugely important part of this.
Yes, first impressions are critical in most areas of life, in particular buying or selling a home. What the buyer feels coming into the home is going to be based on what they feel walking up to it. I always advise, if practical and if it's not showing well, to at least repaint or replace the hardware on a front door. It's often overlooked and people don't think it's a big deal, but if you think about it, as an agent and a buyer are going into your home, they may walk through the entire home in 15 minutes, but they may spend a couple of minutes getting the key out, unlocking the key, talking right on the front porch, standing in front of the front door and looking at that, and how that presents is going to set the stage for the entire showing.
And then the curb appeal obviously applies to the entire front yard, just making that look as good as it can be.
Correct. That's down to paint on the outside, landscaping the front, making sure the driveway is clean, not having too many cars or too much personal property or debris anywhere visible. Those are all key elements to making sure that it presents well.
And then if we move on to the fourth thing, then a key room in the house is clearly the primary bedroom. We all spend half of our days in the bedroom.
Yeah, primary bedroom and primary bathroom are critical. Primary bedroom may be more limited in terms of what you can improve, particularly if you've addressed the flooring and the painting as an issue. But primary bathrooms, kind of like kitchens, are one of those eye candy pieces of a home that it's important to make sure is up to snuff. It can be done in a lot of the same ways that a kitchen can be done. You can refinish cabinets, you can just replace countertops, you could replace fixtures in a shower, but keep neutral white tile. And little things can make a big difference in how it presents.
And then the final thing on the list is the backyard. Obviously, we live in Sonoma County. Beautiful weather. A lot of the lifestyle here is about enjoying your outdoor spaces. So what's your take on improving the outdoor space outside?
I think improving outdoor space can generate a big return. It can get you a premium and set you apart from other houses in the neighborhood, since oftentimes people don't invest a lot of time or money in renovating a backyard. However, I say this cautiously, that people often also over improve their backyard because backyard renovations can get extremely expensive. A pool is a great example. If your home is under $1 million, a pool likely is going to add little to no value to the home if it's taking up most of the yard, even though it comes at a tremendous cost to do. So you have to be careful and selective in backyard projects, but making sure that it presents well and is easily enjoyable for somebody moving in to, as David said, enjoy this great weather and outdoor living lifestyle we have here in Sonoma County is important.
So just to recap, the first thing is paint and floors. Second thing is the kitchen. The third thing is curb appeal in the front yard. The fourth thing is the primary bedroom, and then finally the outdoor space. So those are the top 5 improvements. But there is one thing that we talk to all of our clients about who are looking to sell their home, and that's really to stage it and have it vacant. And we feel really strongly about both of those things.
Yeah, we call this kind of our bonus tip. It's aside from the 5 key renovation projects or improvements you can do, because this doesn't actually necessarily change anything in the home, but it has a dramatic impact on how the home presents. As David and I always say to every client we talk to, is the ideal conditions to sell a house under are vacant and staged. Now that just allows for the ease of access and showing and accessibility, and it also presents the home in its best light and allows buyers to visualize how they would live in the space, where furniture would go, and those sorts of things. Rooms can be deceptively small when they're empty, but when they have large pieces of dark furniture in them. However, staged properly, it can make the room feel more expansive and allow people to imagine all of their own stuff and living in it comfortably. However, we understand that vacant and staged is not always practical for every home seller. So we just say we try and get as close to that as possible, whether that be ease of access or decluttering and removing personal items and large pieces of furniture to make it feel like it is staged with the intention of selling.
And I'm sure we both had conversations with sellers who have spent XYZ on a certain improvement, and the problem is sometimes those improvements aren't actually adding that much value to the home. So that's definitely something that we see. What would you say are the things that people need to be sort of careful about of actually spending money that they're not going to get back when they come to sell the home?
It's a great question. And like I said, depending on the price point, you can get away with certain things, but generally over improving any element of your home for the neighborhood is dangerous. If you're in an entry-level home, but yet you put a high-end kitchen into it, you may not get all that money back because the next buyer may not fully appreciate that. A couple other pitfalls are swimming pools. If your home is, as I mentioned, below probably $1 million for our Sonoma County market and doesn't have tremendous outdoor space beyond the pool, a pool may or may not add significant value to the home. And another hot topic, the way things are shifting in our area and in our world, is does solar and backup batteries add any value? Unfortunately, it adds little value right now in terms of comps because everybody's comparing to other similar homes that have sold that often don't have those features, and they still are features that buyers from our experience are not really willing to pay a premium for yet. We're starting to see that dynamic shift as it becomes more prevalent, but right now it's not something we would advise you to do because we don't think you'd get a return on it.
And I guess the other thing is creating an interior environment which is highly personalised. I mean, you may really like the sort of, the teak-clad wall in the dining room, but for a lot of buyers that's going to be a turn-off. So again, if you're doing things which are highly personalised, you just need to be really careful about making sure that they'll appeal to as broad a possible audience as you can. If you are looking to sell your home, then we're always happy to come around and take a look, and we'll advise you on the things that you should and the things that you shouldn't spend your money on prior to selling your home. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. If you want to see other videos like this, check out the link in the description below. Until the next video, go well.